JP. I'm JP Easy Guitar. And normally I do guitar lessons, but today we're actually going to talk about YouTube and the algorithm. Maybe not so much the algorithm, but also claims and all that stuff too. I'm not sure if it has an effect, but also the drastic drop in impression rate over a 24-hour period. I did look online. I found a lot of people, even like within the last few months, who have gone from like 50,000 impressions a day to like 2,000. I'm having the same issue, so let's take a look at a little bit of the analytics and stuff, because literally within 24 hours, I'll show you it's dropped pretty drastically. Let's say maybe 60%, if not more. And there is a reason, I'm assuming, that it happened. However, I'm not sure, I wasn't aware that this was an issue, and I wasn't aware that YouTube actually affected videos because of this, but I'm wondering if anybody else has any experience with this, or if it's happening to you. Let me know down in the comments, or if you have a solution to the problem. I guess we'll find out. So essentially what happened was I had a bunch of claims against some videos. They were false ID content claims. And what I did was actually I looked at them, I made sure they was under fair use, all that stuff. So all at once I went through, I think I've got about 200 videos, but there's claims on about 10 of them. So, and they date back quite a bit actually. So I made those claims last night, and then all of a sudden, right after, actually not last night, during the day yesterday, but suddenly right after I actually disputed those claims, all my views dropped. Impression rate I don't have yet, but I'm imagining my impression rate is extremely low. So if YouTube has an actual answer for this, which they don't so far, like they've been clearly having issues. The YouTube Creator Academy is releasing videos about content claims and appeals, because apparently YouTube is just allowing big companies to steal people's money. Essentially, that is what is happening. A lot of these companies too, like some will be Sony and stuff, but some is like Cobalt Music, which apparently is a shadow company. I don't know what it is, but they put a bunch of claims in against a bunch of my stuff, which they don't own. Anytime I actually dispute the claims, people release the videos, because obviously they're just trying to take your money, take my money. But YouTube clearly doesn't have a strike system against any of these companies, because if they're making these false claims, nothing's stopping them from just bullying you. And if you feel too intimidated to actually dispute it or anything else, they put a bunch of language in there that actually sort of deters people from actually filing a dispute or an appeal or anything else, because they want small YouTubers to actually feel like they don't have very much control. So essentially, that happened. So as you can see, I'll have a picture up here. Within a day, it's gone drastically downward. Like, and it was not like that at all. Like, so I was averaging about 1,000 views a day. It's dropped in half, if not actually less than that overnight. Impressions gone down over 70%, all in one night, just because I made these claims. And I also know that the videos are still up. They are still getting views, but the amount of views across my entire channel drastically dropped. I bet 10 to 1 YouTube's not going to do anything about it. They're going to do absolutely nothing. I'm just hoping that it bounces back, because there's a 30-day period during the appeal process. So like, or not the appeal, sorry, the dispute process. So I disputed all of them. Even within a day, I actually got responses, because technically they have 30 days to actually respond and decide whether or not they want to accept the fact that they don't own it, or dispute that again, and then you can appeal that later, and then they can dispute it again. And if you decide to appeal the very last one, then you leave yourself legally liable. So you just have to be sure that you're within fair use, and you could argue in court, and you should be fine. So as long as you're doing educational videos, or you're doing something like a Let's Play, or you're doing something that isn't, or is transforming the actual original content. For instance, mine, I'm doing guitar lessons, but I don't use any actual audio or video, and I change the chords for most of the songs to make it easier for people to learn. So none of my content has any actual content from anybody else. A few lyrics here and there, but they're strictly being used for educational purposes, so I already know it's good to go. Because usually when I actually dispute them, they just release them. Unfortunately, this one company is deciding to actually make it a little bit more annoying for me, so they're probably gonna try and play me out and see if I want to actually have the video removed. But even if they do, I can still dispute it, so it's all good. I could explain that whole process to you guys if you have any questions, and I can show you all the emails I got and stuff. Let me know in the comments. Any of my YouTube friends, this one's for you. If you've ever experienced this, because I know a lot of people who have had claims put in on their music and stuff like that, but I don't know if anybody's taken the whole thing to the end, like where you actually get a copyright strike or whatever it is. I mean, again, the company can do that, but you can always argue it out. But it is basically just a bunch of, I'm not sure if YouTube even, like, wouldn't surprise me if YouTube owned some of these shadow companies, or Google at least, and then if the person never disputes anything, they just send them around like a bunch of interns just like claiming videos, and if nobody does anything, they just funnel it all back into itself. Would not surprise me in the least. Google didn't get that big. Oh, kitty cat, get out of the way. Google definitely did not get that big by playing by the rules. So I wouldn't put it past Google to do it, or maybe it's just individual companies that they have contracts with that are doing this, because I've literally had people claim chords, like an A chord. I'll show somebody how to play an A chord on a guitar, like just an A on a guitar, and I've had somebody try and, like a company actually try and claim an A chord. It's been around for like thousands of years, well not thousands, but hundreds of years. Like, what are you doing? It's bothersome, and YouTube is absolutely facilitating it. Absolutely. If YouTube, I'm calling on YouTube to actually create like a strike system for companies who are doling out all these false claims and then releasing them after, because essentially they're just claiming everything, and then those that don't actually dispute it because they're intimidated or otherwise, they just get all the money. And there's no, I know you changed over to manual Google or YouTube. I'm talking directly to you now, YouTube. I know you switched over to the manual blah, 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 where they actually have to put the timestamp in instead of just claiming it's all theirs. But regardless, that doesn't change the system at all. Like, you're not, like, we get strikes, we get copyright strikes, even if our stuff isn't copyrighted and hasn't been proven in court. So that doesn't make sense, and the fact that you're allowing these companies to do many, many, many false claims without any repercussions is unacceptable. Obviously, you're probably doing it because you own all these companies. I actually don't know. That's just me being a little bit paranoid. But when it comes to Google, you never know. Anyways, I'm sure after this video, my channel will get a further drop. Somebody will probably see this and be like, "Oh, he's gone." In which case, I just switch over to like Dailymotion. There's other websites that you can actually make money off of, even through Google AdSense, or even without Google AdSense, like Dailymotion and stuff, or there's other ones too. Obviously Patreon, but they aren't hosting video, but you could use other websites to link, like Dailymotion, to actually link to Patreon so you can get paid. Regardless, that is my rant for the day. All my YouTube friends, if you have any idea what's going on, or if you've ever like disputed claims and then seen like a drastic drop in your numbers, like the day of, or like the day at, like the hours after, like, doesn't make much sense to me. So if you have a solution to the problem, I would love to hear it. Thank you.